As you can see, we're back out in the garage, and the first project of the week is to get this helmet completely warblood and hardened. So covering the entire thing, covering the model magic and the foam, getting all of the details in it, all of that kind of stuff. So as you can see, I did this front part just because the model magic actually hasn't dried completely yet, and I wanted to get that on to harden it before it cracks and just peels off more than it is. So yeah, just going to be continuing covering this in Worbla. Been a little bit since I've had a chance to go back to working on the helmet, but this is what it is looking like so far. I'm pretty sure I showed you covering this, but I have the antenna parts covered. They're going to be covered a bit more. And then the back, I got these bones covered and then created a back with the Worbla, and then more of the inside. And so I'm just continuing to continue covering and getting more details onto this helmet. I haven't been filming time lapses of doing the Worbla just because it is super fiddly, and honestly it would probably, you'd just mainly be seeing my elbow half of the time. But I did want to show you the process of this piece. So I've got this really giant rectangle on here, and as you can see right now it's just formed to the mouthpiece part, but then I'm going to kind of let it sag in these crevices to create the actual shape that it needs to be. So yeah, just sometimes the Worbla's ability to, you know, stay in sheet form does work out very well for things like this, because it will stretch, so you can all keep it in one piece and it will form to the shape you need. So here's how the helmet is looking. This side's a little rough, and then this side, when I was bending it over the stuff, it just split really badly, got a bunch of holes in it, so I just decided to completely replace it with this other piece and also make it match up better. But I'm losing a lot of light, so I think that's where I'm going to call it a night for this garage work, but I'm going to go inside and do some more work to kind of prep for tomorrow. So I will show you that once I get inside. So I'm inside now, and basically what I'm going to be working on is a template for these blade things. I got the template scaled up to the other full mask template. I multiplied it because I'm going to be using different parts out of this template for different layers of Worbla, so I figured I'm going to have to print something anyway, might as well print multiple ones in case I need them. And yeah, I'm going to get that printed out and then probably head to bed, so I will see you tomorrow. So today I am actually also starting on priming the staff. So as you can see, I removed the grate and that piece, and it's all laid out and ready to be sprayed. It's a bit later now. That now has primer on both sides. And then on the helmet I added these, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it because of course the lighting is crazy in the garage. I added some extra pieces on the front of the antenna parts, and then mainly I've just been doing some internal work. I got some Worbla on the inside of these side fin piece things, but I'm having to watch it because I'm making the big blades removable, and I'm going to need to measure and fit a piece to go on these. So I want these ones to be able to still be flexible. So I think now I'm just going to be doing the outside of these pieces, like around here, because that should be okay. I should still be able to fit the pieces in there alright. But yeah, that's the pretty not interesting update around the helmet. The first thing on the agenda today is making these blades. I have decided that I'm going to make the base out of foam core board because it's super rigid and easy to cut. So 2 layers of those for each blade, and then cover it in Worbla. So here are the first blade pieces. This back part actually tapers off quite a lot, so it's going to be a little longer than that. I did try and carve out some of the foam board a little, but the majority of that tapering is just going to be Worbla. So I have my pieces cut, and I'm just going to, I guess, start covering this. There is a piece that goes in here, but I figured it was going to be easier if I tried to cover it without that piece there, but I'll see. I might actually add it in. We'll see, but the end is my first priority. Here are the finished blades minus the attachments on the end. So yeah, I made them in segments of Worbla, made this part a separate piece, just it was a lot easier to put on. Got them nice and tapered. And yeah, that's basically all I've gotten done this afternoon. I spent a very large portion of this afternoon sanding the Electro Ripper, which took me like over an hour, which was ridiculous, and then getting that reprimed. But yeah, they are the two blades, and now I'm probably going to make up these ones. Here are the finished blade pieces. So as you can see, I carved out that piece kind of there. You can't really see too well kind of what happens to this, other than there's definitely like an indent in between the two pieces. So they're the base, and I also just shaped out the end a bit. It does kind of curve, but I'm not worried too much about the tip curving. As long as it has that beveled edge, I think that should be good. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover these in Worbla. So here's what the one side looks like with all the finished edges, and this is the unfinished one. So just some trimming and some kind of plastic welding, I guess you could call it, of the edges to get them all nice and smooth to match this one. So I brought the antenna template and some Worbla in to work on, and I've got them all cut. So these are the main blade pieces, and then these are the details for right here, and then the wraparound details in the different layers to stack it up and give it the right dimension. But yeah, that's going to be where I stop for the night. Here is one of the fully assembled antenna blade things, if it would focus. There we go. Yeah, so I got the notches in that, the different layers on it. There's a little bit of engraving detail that I might still put on it, but that's pretty much done. The other one is also assembled. I just need to cut the notches out of it. Finally back to working on the actual helmet. So I got this side some Worbla on the front fin piece, and then I was just working on the profile of the front piece and these like tooth things, if it would stop focusing on the floor. Yeah, so I was just working on the profile or like dimensions of what this front part needs to So as you can see, there's the markings, but yeah, I had to shorten this one. So now I'm going to trace this side, template it to get that one covered in Worbla as well, and then continue to kind of just fix things all up in the front area here. So I'm inside for the night, and I'm actually working on cutting out the blade portions and possibly engraving the 4 blades. So getting the notches in those guys, and then we'll see about engraving depending on how late it's getting. But yeah, I figured I could bring those in since it's dark out and like you can't see anything in the garage. So yeah, that's what I'm doing tonight. Well, I fit the blades in. They're not in permanently, I just fit them in because I got this part in the like thing that's basically holding up this one, but they need their clips and stuff on them. I just fit them in to see how they were fitting, and yeah, I figured I would film and show you. But yes, as you can see, it is like sticking out the back like crazy, which of course is what happens. So it's probably a good thing that this is going to be over 6 feet in the air and therefore is not going to wipe out everybody, hopefully. But yes, things are looking pretty epic. So it is actually the next day. I did work all day, I just didn't film any of it because it was a severe thunderstorm and it was pitch black outside, and I figured even if you could see what I was doing, you probably definitely wouldn't have been able to hear me. So I got the blades attached and removable. I will show you how they work in a minute. So that is how they're looking. I'm not sure if I even showed you the front, but the front I started basically, mainly what I'm doing today is working on the front. But I did extend this a bit and I got the side fin things a little more clean. Yeah, mainly it is the blades. So these blades work on, I'm going to take half of them off and then I will show you the inside. So here are 2 of them off. As you can see, they have these clips on them. So this one slides into a channel in here and then clips in, I'll show you the inside, clips in to that buckle. So it slides in up there, goes through that just to hold it in place better, and then clips in there. And then this one sits on top of this bone piece and then goes into that channel, and then the other clip is right there. I had to cut the foam out because it needed to sit a lot flatter. And then there are holes on the inside, there you can see, that allow you to actually unclip it. So on this side where it's still attached, you can see how the clip is right there and it's super easy to get to. The other side works the same as well. So as you can see, you got the clip going through there. And yes, that is how this works. Basically, as I'm sure you can see, like, this helmet is big enough, but then you add the blades out the end and it would have just been a nightmare to try and pack. Like, yeah, this is the end of the blade and the helmet's way over there. So it would have been a nightmare to pack, so that is why they are removable, and they're really easy to remove. So yeah, super happy with that, how that turned out. I haven't attached the antenna blades yet just because it was one more thing that I didn't need to fight with, moving the helmet around constantly. But yeah, I think now I am going to, mainly today, I am working on getting this front part done. I also might cut out the back for the hair. I haven't templated the engraving details yet, so the words up here, like the quote, the poetry quote thing that's along the top, I'm definitely going to need to template. The others I might freehand, but I also have the tube parts that I need to deal with too. So mainly, first thing I'm going to be doing is this front part, getting these teeth. Like, this one isn't even done, this one's just more done than that side. Mainly getting the main teeth all looking good down here. All accurate and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I just thought I'd update you with the blade situation, seeing as it is now attached and works. I also still have some engraving details on these guys that I'll probably do inside at night sometime, just because I can and might as well not waste my time, daytime in the garage doing that. But yeah, that's how things are looking so far. It is quite a bit later now. As you can see, this side is looking a lot better and more like this side. Yeah. I did some internal work as well along the edges, not that you can really see, just to strengthen things up. But yeah, that's, I put the cracks in this one and the different cracks around there, marked up where the two holes need to go, and I'm just going to figure out kind of what is happening all around here. It kind of looks like there's a piece that goes like this over top, and then you have the hole. So might be drawing up some more templates and getting those on as well. So here is how things are looking at the end of the day. As you can see, I have some of the lower engraving parts done, just because I was looking at figuring out the like wire bits, and I figured having at least these engraving parts finished would be helpful so that I don't have more stuff in the way. And then I roughly drew on the half moon because I'm gonna go in and work on templates for the helmet. Mainly the text that needs to go around here. So I needed to figure out the max size of the text. And I also cut out the back for the hair and added loops, if you can see those, to help attach the hair eventually. So here's how the tubing is looking. I did something first and it did not work out, so this side's a lot more finished. So these tubes are kind of being held in with some armature wire in different points. I'm not sure if you can see it. Like, there's different points just to kind of hold it down and in place. So basically underneath the other side, it has like this kind of idea, and then I built the clip on top. Just because obviously the proportions aren't exactly the same, and I need that piece to come along here, so it's a pretty deep valley on my helmet. So that's how this is working. But yeah, just thought I would update you on how the tubing is working. It's not trimmed yet or anything underneath, it's just being held in place and stuff, so I think I'm gonna make the clip for this side and then yeah, go from there. There is another clip here, and then I think I'm going to make these ones actual doweling just because they are super straight. So I have the other side of tubing on. I also engraved the details there, and I cut out the other tube pieces that are going from like that point down, and then you have the mouthpiece with the teeth. So those pieces are cut, but I think I'm going to leave it there for now for outside and go inside and do other stuff. So I got the edge designs engraved on the two blades, nothing too fancy. There are some side designs I might do, so I'm going to leave these inside for now. But yeah, just thought I would show you how these guys are looking. So back in the garage again, as you can see, I've started working on this piece. So that dowel that I cut yesterday, I put two pieces of the clear tubing I've been using for the wire on the end just to help with the bottom of the teeth. Wrapped another piece around the dowel to make it a bit thicker. And then as you can see, I have one tooth on, which is just some of my scrap warbler that I heated up, created it like clay, and then sculpted that out. So yeah, now I'm going to do the other tooth to match this one. We've got teeth. Alright, the teeth are on. So as you can see, there's some wire that's going through the helmet that's holding this up. It is a bit heavy, so just to keep that secured. Right now, well, they're going to stay like that, but you can see the wire that's wrapping around the dowels. That's going to get covered right after I film this. And then there's just a piece up here right now to hold them in place. So yeah, I'm going to get the attachments here molded out and sculpted on, as well as get the piece in here, and I realized I never added this piece up here, so I'll be doing that as well. There, I think that's where I'm going to be leaving the clips and bar portion of the helmet. So as you can see, there's the details around the teeth, that's all covered with the wire. You can still see the wire behind a bit. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover that or not. I'll figure that out later. And then you got the clips there, and I added the clips up at the top as well. So yeah, that's how things are looking right now. That's pretty much, other than adding the antennas, doing some work on the inside, and the engraving, the base is really almost finished, which is awesome. Yeah, just some fine details. I think I might do some work on the inside, just covering up the wires and stuff, so I don't poke myself on them. Yeah. So I am back inside now. I'm not actually sure if I showed you that I put the antennas on, but they're in there now. And I have the helmet in here because I am working on the engraving for this. This is just a test piece. So basically, this is the text that needs to go around this half moon, which I'm probably going to do that first. This was just from last night. I was testing stuff out to see if the masking film would actually stick to the Worbla, and it does, so hopefully I'll be able to get that to work. But this is the quote, which is in Aurebesh, which is the Star Wars written language, except on the helmet it's backwards. I don't know why it's backwards. In theory, it shouldn't be. On the concept drawing, it is the right way, but they put it on backwards on the actual helmet, so I need to do it backwards. And then I have taken the different letters, kind of like handwriting is all different. Obviously, this is the standard Aurebesh, and there are just some differences in the helmet's details of the different letters, so I've made those adjustments to the letters that needed adjusting. And the squiggles are the separate words, so I'm going to be doing it word by word and curving it around. So that is why the lines and stuff. But yeah, it's color coordinated just so I can know what line is which when I'm putting it on. But yeah, I think I'm going to actually tighten up this marking and get that engraved before I actually start working on the text. Which when I do the text, I have used masking film, which is this clear film that is sticky, and I'm using white gel pen so I can actually see the design, and hopefully the plan is that I'm going to be able to burn the actual design while this is still on it and then just peel this off. But I'm going to be testing that on another piece before I try that, just in case it burns the masking film too much to the helmet and I can't get it off. But that's the plan, so we will see how the plan stays. But yeah, this is how the helmet's looking so far. Also, because I now have the antennas on the helmet, I can now see how many places it's not going to fit in my studio for display purposes, because obviously I've been spending a crazy amount of time on this helmet and it's still not done yet. So I'm going to want to have it displayed kind of like, you know, my wolf head's up there, my Sabine one's over there. So I'm probably going to want this in the studio once it's done and when I'm not actively wearing it. And yeah, it's very tall. So we'll be figuring out where that's going later. Alrighty, so I have the circle engraved on as well as the half moon, and I also have the first of the word templates stuck on. So I did test it out and it works really great. If this would focus. Yeah, so it works really great. Yeah, so I'm gonna start engraving those in. Alrighty, as you can see, the engravings are all finished. Yeah, it wasn't that difficult. It was really more time consuming than anything. The masking film template idea worked really well, so that's great. I just need to now put the cracks in the helmet. I used a deeper, like a thicker hot knife point than I normally do to get the text nice and bold. So I just need to flip that out now and do the cracks in the skull, and then the helmet base is pretty much finished, other than I'm going to be templating what the visor needs to look like. Yeah, here is the text. Alright, so here are the cracks all finished on the helmet. It's pretty late now. I also did some detail work on that piece there, but it's getting pretty late, so I think I'm going to work on the visor stuff tomorrow. I gotta cut these. You can see me in the camera. I have to cut this template what the black needs to be and figure that all out, but I think that's going to be a project for tomorrow. Yeah, just wanted to show you all of the skull crack work. As you can see, I put some tracing paper in the area behind and I traced out the opening shape, as well as did a rough kind of mock-up of what the silver part of the visor needs to look like, just so I had an idea on the actual 3D curve what things would look like. So I'm going to take that off now and then work on making that into a template so I can actually cut out the polycarbonate and the ski goggle so that it fits in there. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually put it in yet. I might just sew it is in and then mask it off, but we'll see. Definitely I need to work on making sure it actually fits in there, even if I don't glue it, before I continue on with painting and stuff. Alright, so here are the different versions of the template. That is the one that was on the helmet. So you have obviously the silver visor part and then the actual black visor, as well as the internal markings, like the stuff that's going to be in the helmet that you're not actually going to see. And then from that I made a perfectly mirrored image thing, and then I made some notes on it because the actual silver of the ski goggle would end here. So I shrunk that a bit, and this is going to be basically the final template. The white line, there's actually a slice across the glass, and so this internal part is going to be one piece, and then the ring around the outside is going to be another piece of the ski goggles. I actually have 3 of these. So I think I'm gonna trace this one, this is the final one, onto the masking film kind of idea like I did for the letters, and then get that on the ski goggle and then get it cut out. So template is on, and I'm gonna go outside now and cut this. Alrighty, so here is the first cut visor piece. So this is the internal so basically this line is going to be another layer, so this is the smaller piece. And I also cut the visor in shape, so this piece I still need to cut out the actual, like, I'm going to try and not have too much overlap between this and this, just so I can see better. Obviously this is an extremely, it's the darkest tint of a welding visor. It's what I used for my Sabine helmet, so it's the darkest welding visor tint, so it's pretty dark already, and obviously the more layers of stuff that I add, the harder it's going to be for me to see. So I am actually going to cut out vaguely this shape, just so there's not too much overlap so I can see better. Yeah, now I'm probably going to figure out the pieces that go around this piece. Yeah, before I cut that. I'll probably get all of this built and then cut that out. I didn't show you this last night because I wanted to show you this in the daytime, but as you can see, the visor is finished and in. I think it looks awesome. So you can see I got the slice that's across. I had to put the visor on first because the slice perfectly matches up. So yes, the welding visor is glued in, and then this is glued over top, and you can see through it perfectly, which is awesome. So instead of most people having like about the viewpoint of just this bar, I can see through the entire opening. Yes, I put the blades in for the full effect, and yeah, that is the finished helmet base, and also the end of this Project Enfys video. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.